Hello, this is the first in a few series of videos this month. I'll be doing other videos, but this is the sort of major theme for this month. Is the game jam that I'm taking a part in. So I'm taking part in the one game a month jam, and you build a video game. There's no rules, and I sort of explain it in this video. But I just thought I'd give this sort of introduction before we launch straight into to the video itself. Um, I won't be doing it like a traditional the way that I normally do videos. There won't be an intro and an outro, just this intro. So if you like this video, don't forget to thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, thumbs down, obviously. Feel free to subscribe, and so you get timely reminders. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Codehoose, Codehoose. The link's in the show notes below. And yeah, enjoy. The basic idea is that it's called a creature feature, and I'm building a platform game. So it shows the sort of mechanics of how, or it shows how I'm building the mechanics for the game. So um, there's a bit in it where I get a path and I get a zombie to ping pong between the path, and then there's random object drops and there's weapons and that kind of stuff. That's all going to be inside these videos. So I may pick bits of the videos out and put them separately, but this is just the raw feed. I'm also on Twitch as well when I do this. So anytime I record a video, I'm actually on Twitch recording the video. So if you follow me at Codehouse on Twitter, then you'll find out when I'm going to be uploading and when I'm going to be live streaming this. So it really is live streaming. So it is completely raw, unedited, unscripted, and it starts, as always, after the fade. Hello. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, so for the first part of that, it was a kind of like a Marcel Marceau thing. Um, okay, I don't want that one. I want this one here. Okay, one game a month. All right, so one game a month is the idea is that you make one game a month, and um, you. Hang a sec. You pick a topic. It doesn't have to be the one that's mentioned here, and you make a game, and you have an entire month to make it. Um, this is month 66 of one game a month, and uh, this feature, creature feature, this time round uh, the topic, the theme is creature feature. And so you can go around, you can create a scary, funny, friendly thing. You can make like a toy where you could like poke the eyes of it's a cruel thing to do, but you could poke the eyes of something and it would like brains would fall out and all that kind of stuff. Um, there are no rules. You can there's a whole bunch of tips there as well. You the idea is that you just go and make a game. Um, so rather than listening to me talking about here's how you could go and make bits of a game, you go and make bits of the game. So, where are we here? Why? How? Anyway, you like. No rules. Teams are allowed. Game jams are allowed. Sequels are allowed. All languages are allowed. Everything's allowed. The only thing you can't do is you can't do illegal things. So you can't rip off. You can't go and make Sonic or Mario or any of these games. But you can do anything you want. So if you want to go and buy art from the asset store, that's allowed. If you want to go and get art from DeviantArt, as long as it's open source and you can use it, it's all free. It's all legal as far as the this game jam's concerned. And I thought it would be a nice little thing to try. So I'm going to move this over to here. Um, and what I have so far is not a lot. So last night I sat down with a pen and a bit of paper, and sketched out exactly this, and that's all I have. And so I ended up with this, which is just a scrolling um, background. And you probably think to yourself, well, it's fairly uneventful. I mean, it looks like an Atari 2600 game. And you'd be right, it does look like an Atari 2600 game. But the difference is that I actually used a program called Tiled, or TileEd, um, not a map file. Okay, that's weird. Um, and drew out this map. I'm going to change the scale of it because right now it's quite chunky. So I will change the scale of it through here. But what I did want to do though is, and this is where it's probably going to slow down, is where are we? If we go to tiled factory. TileEd has the ability to save out as a JSON file, and you know how much I like JSON files. So last night I wrote a little routine to bring in um, those resources. So super simple. I went to where are we? I went and opened up the JSON file. So if I go back to Unity here, go to resources, test map, show an explorer. You can see that it's down there as well. And then I open with Sublime Edit. Um, you see that this is the JSON file format here. And all I did was I took the fields there, had an educated guess as to what type they were, so whether it was height and width are giving me integers. I'm not entirely sure what this is for, but then it's got orientation, tile render, all that kind of stuff. And then there are a list of tile sets and a list of layers. Now the layers is the important part because as you can see here, each layer has these index values, and those index values correspond to these values here. So I think this is 1, tile ID 0 it's called. This is 1, and then this is 2. But as far as this is concerned, it's actually, although it's 0 indexed here, it's actually 1 indexed in the file because 0 means there's no block in that location. So although it says 2 there, it's actually 2 minus 1. And although it says 0 there, that just means that there's no tile because you'll see that if we go down to here, we've got tile number 1 over here. And so what I did was last night I wrote a little importer that basically I have these structs that are very, very simple structs that are all serializable so that when I read them in, using the JSON utility, it brings them in as from the text file, and all I do is I specify the path to the file name inside here, and that is done inside Unity. I have this temporary game object here, and all I do is I pass in the level name, which is testing/test map, and you see that I have a folder over here called testing test map, and I have a file in there called test map, and that's what that represents. And then I created this other sort of higher level version here. So it's still got some tweaks I need to do inside, but it has the list of the background tiles and the platform tiles. And then I have a level loader here, which again is a bit rough and ready. So I'm going to do some refactoring just now to try and get it so that it's going to come in and I know exactly where the level starts. So I was initially going to have my idea for the game was going to be a bit like let me see if I can find it. YouTube Defender arcade game was going to be a bit like the Defender arcade game. Let me see if we can get this here. Oh, that's loud. Okay, that was really loud. So the Defender arcade game had an infinite playfield. So if you look at the map at the top there, sorry, I just get blasted there by sound. If you look at the map at the top here, then you'll see that that it actually is infinite. It's a Mobius strip basically. It goes from 0 to 1, and then when it gets to 1, it goes back to 0 again. So it just continuously goes around there. And I thought it would be a good idea to, and maybe if I have time towards the end of this jam, and this is why I'm so calm about it, is that I feel I've got 30 days between then and now, and people even start on like the last day and have like a rush game to build. But I feel that given that I do Ludum Dare when I'm available, uh, this seems like a luxury having 30 days to make a game. Excuse me a second. So my initial idea was that I was going to have a platform game that kind of worked like Defender, in that it had you started off in the middle of the world, and you would have these you'd have these universal monsters that you would have to kill off in each level, and you'd have to do it in a particular way. So, for example, in the first level, you would have to show you would have a mirror, and you would show the Frankenstein monster the mirror, and then the monster would realize that he's not actually the person who was the brain. He's actually this freak made of body parts, and he would like explode. That was the idea. The Wolfman, you would get a gun. It would have silver bullets, and you'd have to go and pick up ammo and the gun itself. You'd have to find the gun in the level before you could, pardon me, kill the werewolf. Um, Dracula, it would have like holy water wells, and those would be under attack by the vampires because they would be like, trying to kill them. They would turn into bats and all this kind of stuff. So I had all this idea in my head about what I actually wanted to do. Um, and I thought it'd be a kind of cool idea to put it into game. But my initial thought was to have it as defender, so you can see here that you're always moving. The playfield is always moving. And like I said, it'd be like attack wave and all that kind of stuff. And I still might do that even without what we have, even without the ability to just, uh, yeah, we'll see. Um, but like I said, my plan for today is to tidy up the code that I have just now, and um, and get it into a working state where I can have a map of any size, and it knows what um, like so okay, the problem I've got is that my map currently, if I go back to here, each one of these boxes represents 16 pixels. Now I can't have 16 pixels as a block because um, it's too big. Oops, sorry. It's far too big for a map size, and the reason why I know it's far too big is because this is what it looks like. So that tiny little map, if I go back to here, um, you'll see that that's this bit here, and if I zoom out, like that's the sort of starting point. So it's far too big. So I need to go back and make that. I think 8 by 8 will make it less chunky. Um, but that means that everything else is doubled. So instead of being, I think it's 16 across here, it's going to be 32. And instead of 144 divided by 16, so that'd be 9. Instead of 9 down, it's going to be 18. So it's going to be 32 by 18 each screen. So I'm going to have to figure that out. But that's what I want to do just now to refactor it. Um, and I just thought that I want to test some stuff. So I got this USB headset because I wanted to see if the Twitch stream would work, and I'm also recording it as well. So it looks like it's okay. I can see it working in the background. I'm hoping that OBS is doing the right thing. I hope I'm not overmodulating uh, on the microphone because, like I said, I haven't tested any of this stuff yet. But I kind of wanted to get back into Twitch streaming as well. So maybe the occasional video would be, or the occasional weekend I would do a Twitch stream and then post that on the Thursday video on YouTube. Maybe edit out all the ums and ahs, all the breaks for drinking coffee. But we'll see how that goes on. But let's refactor this code just now because it's a test just now. The other thing as well is because I'm not going to do the infinite thing, I'm going to change where the camera starts. So the camera, right now the camera starts in the middle. I really want it to start at the far left hand side. So it's going to be a more traditional um, Mario style game just now rather than doing the defender thing. So it's going to start at this point, which means I need to know where the camera is. So I'm going to have to do some math to figure that out. So yeah, let's see how we get on from there. So if I have a screen, I need to know how wide the screen is, and I need to know what size each block is. Now I wonder if that comes in from here or does it? Um, Let me see. So that's in there. Does this tell me what each block is? So it just tells me that the area is 9 by 48. Oh, it does. Tile height, tile width. Perfect. Okay, so I need to know the tile height and the tile width, which I can get. Okay, so tile height and tile width. And that gives me the exact length of, so, okay. So the tile, um, okay, that's pretty cool. All right, so level add, I need to do public int tile width get return tile width int tile height at turn tile height, and do int tile width int tile height tile width tile width. Okay, and then we'll have and tile height, and get rid of that. Okay, so tile width, tile height, and um, the the difference instead of +1 is going to be whatever. So okay, so the test level loader is going to be public float cell width equals 16. Public float cell height equals 16. So each cell in the world is 16, but we're gonna have uh, basically half sizes of that. So our increment is gonna be plus x times whatever the actual cell width and height is. So we're gonna say float cell width equals And then it's going to be level dot tile width divided by cell width. Level dot tile height divided by cell height. And then that's going to be times that times cell height. Okay, and this will make no difference whatsoever to, oh, we do need to go into Tile Factory and then do tiled file dot, oops, tiled file dot tile, there you go, tile width, tiled file dot tile height. Okay, and then we can make this a little bit prettier by doing that. And so this should make no difference whatsoever. Oh no! I just realized I was on mute the whole time. Oh well. Okay. I think I must have switched it when I was drinking the coffee the last time. Rut-row. Or it's been opposite. So hopefully you've been following along. Oops. And so everything should be there. The difference is that this is this is in the wrong layer, but these ones down here will be in the right layer. These are not in the right layer. Why are these not in the right layer? Oh, because platforms get their value from name. These are the right names, aren't they? Let me just set a breakpoint here. So we want sorting layer to be, the default's going to be 1 because that's the default sorting layer. Sorting layer is 1. Okay. Sorting order. That's not the right one. Sorting layer ID. That is the right one. Okay, let's do that again. Let's make sure I'm not on mute. Yeah, don't think I'm on mute. Now, invalid layer ID. Please use the unique ID of the layer, which is not the same as its index in the list. Huh. Am I using it the wrong way? Where are we? Get layer value from ID dot name to ID. Don't. Definitely working this time. No. Well, it's platforms and it is background, but background for some unknown reason is choosing snow. Has this flipped? Did I change something in block? Block. Did something change in here? No, it's 2. This is most peculiar. Okay. So I don't know why it's choosing. So it's doing the right layer, but it's not going to the right index. So index is 2. Okay. And then the sorting layer is some crazy big number. That's fine. And then index is 1, is 2. And then sprite is 2. Sprite is 2. So it's currently ground. And now it's sky. Okay. Sky. So what? I don't understand. Um. Oh, wait. That's why. Ha 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 ha. If index equals 0, continue. I don't know why I missed that out. I did have that in there. Why is that missed out? Okay. Okay, so we're back to where we were. That's fine. And now what I want to do is I really want to take, so right now this is inside a test level loader. So I want to be able to take this, well actually what I first of all want to do is when we start the game, I actually want the camera to be here-ish. So that is negative 16.5. I want it to be negative 16.5. But I don't really want it to be negative 16.5. So I really don't want the start to be beyond that. So the start X is going to be half the size of the screen. Because I want the camera to start at 0, 0, 0. And when we move to the right, we increase from there, and then when we go back to 0. And if we're less than 0, I want it to stop. I don't want it to continue. Okay, I'm going to put it in mute. Take a refreshing drink of Tim Hortons dark roast, for those of you who are interested in those kind of things. Hello, one viewer. I think it's me. Okay. All right. Oh, by the way, all of the code for this, I should mention, is actually um, um, on my GitHub. So if you go to github.com/kotus/creature-feature-1gam, 1 game a month, this one here, then you can get all the code that I've been doing so far. So if anyone's interested. In ripping it to shreds, again, it's a game jam. It's not looking for production ready code. That can come later. Okay, so I want the camera to start not at the level height divided by 2, not at the level width divided by 2, but I want it to be divided by the number of screens. Now I know that public float screen width in blocks equals 16. Public float screen width in height in blocks equals 9. Yeah, that's right. So 16 by 9, strange aspect ratio. Crazy, huh? It's almost like I planned it. That was in my drive back from work. I was working out the math in my head, and I was like, I need to get it so that it's like really pixelated because I want that kind of aesthetic. But I also want it to fit in 16 by 9. Geez, what's the calculation for that? And I was like, okay, it's 256 multiplied by 9 divided by 144. So 256 by 144 pixels is what the screen actually is, but it's going to look amazing on a 1080 TV, hopefully. Okay, I actually do want 2 players as well. Maybe that'll be the second half of the month. Okay, anyway. So screen width in blocks, and then I want that to be width in blocks divided by 2. And that's going to be negative that. And then, no, it's not that. It is screen width blocks divided by 2. That's going to work. Because that's going to be the start value. So if that's 0, 0, then the start should be here. Boom. Boom count 1. That is the start. So when we scroll that way, I want to stop the scroll so that we don't go too far over the left-hand side. And the way we can do that is we can say if transform.position .x is less than 0, transform.position equals vector 0. Okay, so again, I'm taking sort of assumptions in here in that I'm only ever going to have a linear path. I'm not going to go up and down. If I wanted to be picky, what I could do is I could actually just clamp the x component of that to 0. But like I said, I'm only going horizontal movement. I'm not doing vertical. So if I try and go back now, it'll just let me. Why is that? Oh, because it's the blooming camera. That's why. Okay, this is in the wrong place. Okay, this is what we need to do to refactor it. Okay. So I'm gonna. This is where we do proper tidying up of the code now. So inside the scripts here, I'm gonna have a script here called describe level or draw blocks. Let's call it draw blocks. Reload solution. Okay. And I'm going to take all these values here and I don't need that position there. And I don't want level name. I kind of do, but I don't want that just now. The block prefab can stay. And I want I don't want to start, but I do want all this stuff. Public void draw string file name. Let's call it level name. And then our draw blocks is going to be here. And again, this is all this script does. Memory name is going to be the same. Okay. Block draw. And do that. Okay, so there's block draw. Now, that's all we have there. So all this is concerned about is drawing blocks on the screen, which means we need to have a game controller as well. So I'm going to call this folder game. And this is going to be game controller. So this is going to handle the fade up, fade down, all that kind of stuff. Well, it's not going to do it, but it's going to manage that kind of stuff. So I'm going to do that there. I'm going to create an empty one here, and I'm going to call this game controller. And we'll put that at the very top. Game controller. And we're going to have a level map blocks. And that's going to go here. And we'll move these to 0, 0, 0. There's no rhyme or reason as to why you want to move these to 0, 0, 0. It's just that I feel a little bit more confident or comfortable the fact that these values are in there. Our game object, if I have that as, what did I call this one? Level map draw blocks. Okay, so let's call it draw blocks. So the prefab is block, and these are all correct, so I don't need to change these just now. I will change that to 18 by 18, sorry, 8 by 8, and everything will just miraculously work. Because of the changes I made to the code earlier on, to make this more generic, so that's what all these parameters here are for. Let's tidy this up a bit. There you go. And what else have we got? So we got map blocks, and then the game controller. This is going to figure out to do at some point you'll want to bring this in from prefs or someplace else. Var level name equals testing test map, and I'm going to have a public draw blocks. The object that draws the map. Only. And I don't really want to do any updates in here. I don't think the controller should do any updates actually. Maybe the controller is just that, it just controls things. So it reacts to stuff. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so map controller is going to need, once it spins out, it's going to need to know about map blocks. And this game object can, actually the whole thing can just disappear. And so we have our main camera, we have our map blocks, and null reference. Map blocks. Did I give it the wrong name? Testing resources, testing test map. Oh, right, okay. I need to do that. That's why, because it's so without that at symbol there, it's going to take this as an escaped string, which means that there is /t means put a tab. So really what I did was I wrote this. That's what was actually getting passed. So what I want to do is I still want it to be /test, but I need to add that at symbol there. These are the bugs that happen. And there we go, we get our level back. And we can't move left to right because the camera doesn't work. But you see here that we actually have, this is an 8 by 8 character. Well, that's an 8 by 16 because that's the double height there. But you can see that 8 by 8 is going to work just as good as 16 by 16, only it's going to be a little bit better. So I think the next thing we want to do is we want to get a character in there and interact with the map blocks. So let's add where's my block? Testing, materials, level map, block. Okay. So I want to add a rigid body, 2D, and I gravity scale constraints, freeze position X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay. Maybe I don't want a rigid body. Remove component. And I want a collider. Do I have, is there an edge collider 2D? What is that? Edge radius points. Two. Oh, that's a game. What did? Yeah, maybe we. Hmm, hmm. Yeah, I think this is okay for. Yeah, we're gonna probably have to do some different for ramps and stuff. Remove component, and then let's add. Um, I thought there was. Let me just look this up. Unity platform jump from through. Jump through platforms. So there's our. mm, um, I'm sure there was a surface effect on 2D, platform effect on 2D, platform effect on 2D. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Use collider mask, everything. Okay. The effector will not function until there is at least one enabled 2D collider with used by effector. There we go. Boom. Okay, there we go. Use one way. Okay, that's perfect. That's kind of what I want. Um, collider mask. Yeah, we're probably going to have to figure that one out. So I've never used the 2D tools. So, whoa. I've never used the 2D tools in Unity. So this might be a bit fun. Because I want a guy to be affected by gravity, and I really should stop turning things off. Okay. So let's bring our guy into the situation. Okay. So art testing, and I'm going to create a new guy. Let's just make him snow. So we'll drag out snow, and we'll get rid of block. Click on apply, and delete. And this is going to be our guy. And he is going to have a rigid body 2D. And he is also going to have a collider. Box collider 2D. Let's give him a box collider 2D. I don't know if that's going to work. And then let's say he is on the platform sorting layer. I think if we put them in the platform sorting layer, that'll be fine. I'm going to bring them down there, and we're going to freeze rotation on the Z because we don't want it to rotate on there. So hopefully he should hit the platform. Did he go up there? Is he snapping? He is, isn't he? Is it because, and here's a thought, I think it's because it's on the background layer. So let's try a theory here. Let's not have background blocks. So in the draw blocks here, let's cut that out. So I think he's getting interfered by the background blocks. Yep, that's exactly what's happening. Okay. So how do we mitigate that? I wonder. Sorting layer, mask interaction. Sleeping mode, stay awake. Layer. Okay, we can maybe put them in the same layer. Actually, let's. I wonder if I can do this inside physics. This is probably a better idea to do it inside physics. Okay, so physics has default, and default obviously checks against that. So let's have another layer. Let's go to here and choose layer and then call this player. And we'll have platforms. So we're not going to confuse anything other than players and platforms. And then let's have background as well. So maybe we want player and platform to bump into everything, but we don't want background to interact with it. So if we go back to physics 2D and we go down to background, then we don't want background should interact with background, but it shouldn't interact with player. Player background, so we shouldn't interact with background. Okay. And then go back to this code. And because that's not in the right layer. So this one is player. And for the background one, draw block, I need to pass in true. And I'm going to do bool is background layer equals false. So we default it to not being that. And then we pass in that. And go to here. Equals false. If background layer, then game object dot layer equals layer dot mask dot get a name to layer. Layer index. I think that's, if I remember rightly, I think that's how you do it. Pretty sure. 10% sure. 0% sure. Let's see if it does actually set it. 0 to 31. Okay, it is setting it. So layer is 0, layer is 10. Okay. Game object, block clone. So what is sprite? Sprite is sky. Okay. So that is player 7, physics 2D. I love how this is the tiniest, teeniest little thing in the world. Player. That's background, background, player, background, player, player, platforms. Okay. And this should not be interacting with it. Layer is background. Guy. Snow is player. No. So on those platforms, that's okay. Order in layer, mask interaction, none. Okay, I mean, player, default, background, platforms, player. Okay, what? Player, platforms, background. Background is layer 10. Oh, is it? It might be one. Actually, it might be that. Yeah, that might be it. But it was saying it was the right version, wasn't it? I'm confused. I mean, 0 to 31 would imply that there's only 30, there's mask value there. Yeah, it's definitely not working. Yeah, it's got a layer default now. Game object can only be in one layer. There you go. Okay. Why are you not working? Why are you not working? Um, Unity, ignore collision. There we go. Layer based, okay. Layer based collision section. I don't understand because it is it is getting the right layer. I mean, if I go to block, you see that it says background there. I debug physics here. Um, kill. Physics debugger. Hide layers. Background. Scene. Oh, is it because there's a collision on it? I wonder. Oh, damn. Okay, maybe that's what I need to do. I need to turn off. No, that makes no sense. Although it kind of makes sense. Let me turn the collision off. So if I go to here and I mean, surely the whole point of this being on a particular layer. Let me set this to be uh, background by default. Okay, let's turn off box collider to. Let's turn off platform effector. And then run. No, box collider 2D. Apply. Let's apply that again. Okay. Well, if I turn that on, that makes no sense. Um, uh, um, I'm confused. I don't understand why this is not. I mean, if I set this platform effector up, then it, it okay, nothing's working now. What the heck is going on? Oh yeah, okay, used by effector. Apply. So if I set this on, it just sits there. So if I turn this off, turn that falls down now. But I've turned on ignore for the layer mask. What am I missing here? Unity, tell me. Layer mask. I don't care about background. Player background. Background platforms and player. So there's player player, player, player platforms, platforms background. Not interested in that. Platforms, platforms. Maybe I'm not interested in that. I don't see what else I can change. This is infuriating. That's really annoying. I mean, the whole point of this layer collision mask is so that it sets it up. What am I missing here? I'm saying, okay, background does not interact with player. What else is there to do? And yet it is interacting with the player. So if I go into here and I click on this one, and this one, and I change the background to platforms, it doesn't make any difference. I change it to background, it doesn't make any difference. I change it to player, it doesn't make any difference. But if I turn off this and I turn off this, it works. I don't want to do that though. I want it to be, um, I want it to use the proper layer. Now, am I using, I can't be using layers wrong. Uh, Mask interaction. I don't think I've got mask set up. Excuse me. I'm at a loss here. I don't know why that's not working. Um, 2D layer. Oops. 2D layer. Unity collision. Layers and collision 2D. They are. I do have box collider 2D. So box collider 2D, platform effector 2D, and then I've got layers and collision 2D. I have a. Okay, let's see what this is. I have a problem with different layers and collisions on an object. For example, player ground layer. Change ground layer. Layer and the object collides. What's wrong? Okay, so he's got the exact opposite effect. His isn't working. Layer collision matrix. You know what? Maybe it's just a Unity thing. Maybe I'll just turn it off and start again. Let's see. Who knows? Let me edit that. Alright, let's try this. Nope. let's try physics. Let's see if we set this up here. Physics player. Okay, so physics player, and then player background. Okay, let's see if this makes a difference. I don't see why, but yeah. Project settings, physics 2D, collision matrix. Background doesn't interact with players, platforms, or background. Okay, and then the block, the default is background. I'm going to click on apply. Okay. Do I have to change it to static? Enable the checkbox to mark static for all systems. Disable the checkbox. Static. I mean, it is static. I mean, it doesn't change. Maybe that's the difference. No, definitely does not like it. What the heck? Player. What if I change that to mask? Equals get mask background. I mean, maybe. I see the difference. A game object can only be in one layer. Okay, so I was doing it the right way. I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but this is so frustrating when things like this. This is the things that in an actual like 24-hour game jam. This is the stuff that ruins your day. Um, I don't. If anyone knows what I'm doing wrong here, I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I have blocks set up to be defaults to background. I went into project settings, physics 2D, and all this stuff here. That's fine. And then inside the collision matrix, I said, okay, this is the background. I don't want any player background collisions. I want it turned off. And then when I run it, I have my guy who is player. He's in layer player, and I have block, and he is in background, and all of these are background. Um, these are all background. Why are these all background? Hmm. Why are these all background? As I would expected these ones here towards the bottom to be. Let me background layer. Background layer is false. Background layer is true. Background layer, okay. Some of these are not getting set to be in the right All sky, ground. Yeah, these are all being set to background as well. Oh, I know why. Okay, let me change that to platform apply. That's why. Okay, so by default we make them platforms, and then they become sky. So that's background is sky, and then these should be platforms, which is right. Still doesn't fix the problem. Okay. Well, that's quite annoying. All right, I'll have to pop out for a sec anyway. All right, well, I will see you all later, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.